What's going on, everyone? Talen here, and welcome to another Marvel Future Fight video. Alright, so in this one here, we're going to be taking a look at Red She-Hulk. I got her leveled up and ready to go. I used a Mega Tier 2 ticket on her because I was curious to see how good she was. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I've built her up a little bit. I haven't really invested a lot in her besides getting her to Tier 2. So let's take a look at her build here. And also let's go over her skills. So her first skill is just going to be kind of a standard skill here. We get some burn damage. Second skill, pretty much the same thing, some more burn damage. The third skill, however, we have quite a bit going on. We've got a 20% HP recovery, we've got some super armor, some all defense, damage immunity for 5 seconds, and then we have some damage accumulation. This accumulation is going to be for damage received, so you will have to get hit for this damage to ramp up here. It's a 15% increase to all attack for every 1%, and it's 15% of her max HP, so that means we're getting a 225% increase to all attack, which is really, really strong. And then her fourth skill here has a little bit of penetration, so it penetrates barrier, shield, all damage immune. And then finally, the fifth skill is going to give her invincibility and 20% all attack. And then we have her 4-star passive here, which is actually really cool because it applies to all allies. So this is going to be very, very good for anyone who wants to use her with Immortal Hulk, because it's going to give him a 30% increase to max HP and then also decrease all damage received by 10%. So that's really good. And then her leadership here is going to be increased fire damage by 65%. So very, very strong leadership for herself. And then also we get a 25% increase to max HP, which again is going to be really good for Immortal Hulk. So if you pair her with Immortal Hulk, you're going to get a 55% max HP buff just from having her as lead. And then also, I believe they have a team-up bonus that gives another 5% of max HP. So you're going to get a 60% boost to Hulk's HP if you use Red She-Hulk as a lead, which is really, really good. Her passive right here is going to increase all attack by 15%, all speed 5%, and crit rate by 10%. Then we get some skill damage and bonus damage. So a little bit of everything there, mainly attack-based passive, which is quite nice. And then her isolate set that I have on her is Overdrive. And then for her custom gear, I have a recovery rate, fire damage, and 180 proc. So I haven't really found anything better that I want to use on her right now. I would have really liked to have a dual fire damage with a kind of relatively high proc, like 180, 200% proc, but I didn't have one of those laying around, and I do not have any CTPs of Judgment, or else I probably would have tried that out on her. Well, I only have one, but it's being used right now, so I don't really feel like unequipping that. So this is what we're going to be working with right now. You can take a look at her stats before we hop into some gameplay here. So her ignore defense is maxed out, her skill cooldown is pretty much maxed out, and then everything else is just average right now because I haven't really invested any Uru in her and I haven't really tried to kind of max her out quite yet. So let's go ahead and hop into some gameplay and see how Red She-Hulk here can perform at level 60. Alright, so here we are at Proxima. We're going to be taking on a stage 50. We've got our own leadership, of course, because it's self-buffing. And then we have Valkyrie and Ghost Panther for support. Ghost Panther, of course, is going to be one of the best supports for her because he, of course, increases fire damage alongside damage dealt to supervillains. For the strikers, we're going to be using Nimrod for the all defense down. I just have anti-venom in there just because this is the strikers that I use for most of my clears. We have no mind control or crowd control at all because we do want to get hit, of course, for her to ramp up her damage. And pretty much like Phyla-Vell, she really, really needs to get hit to get that damage because her damage is very low if she doesn't get hit. So here we go, hop into the 5th skill. We got a pretty nice proc there. Then we're going to go right into the 4th skill and then back into the 3rd skill. So we're doing 3, 5, and 4. And I try to stand there a little bit to get hit after using the 3rd skill. And then I hop into the 5th skill. Of course, you get that invincibility, and it actually does help that you do want to stand around and get hits because that will give you more time for the 3rd skill to get off the cooldown, so it'll be pretty much ready right after you use your 4th skill. So that's one thing I do like, but I'm still not too fond of the getting hit mechanics to build up your damage, or at least for the characters that need to get hit to build up that damage, because they don't hit very hard unless you build up that damage, because she really doesn't hit hard at all without the damage accumulation. So if you like forget to do 3, or if you just jump right into, what is she iframing, and her heal is like very substantial. That heal from the 3rd skill because I have that extra recovery rate on my obelisk, I get like 35% of her max HP or something like that. So it's actually a pretty substantial heal. So I do really like that. As you can see there, that was like 26,000 or something that we just healed up. So what is that? Almost, oh gosh, I'm looking at, and I died. I was looking at her health to try to figure out how much of her max HP that was. So I wasn't paying attention that we were getting hit there. That is one thing that's annoying, that she has to use her third skill to get the super armor. So as you can see there, I couldn't use a skill because I got stun locked, where if she had native super armor on her like passive or something like that, I would have been able to use the third skill, no problem. So that's one thing that's a little bit annoying, but again, that's just pretty much her play style. So you want to use the third skill, stand around, get hit a little bit, hop into the fifth skill. When the fifth skill's done playing out and she lands and makes that kind of puddle of fire around the boss there, you hop into the fourth skill. So as you don't want to cancel out the fifth skill early, because that kind of puddle of fire there does a lot of damage. So now we stand here, we get hit, and then we hop right in. As you can see, that damage is really nice. So that's one thing I like, is her damage is good once you kind of line up everything. But again, she does almost no damage unless you get the accumulation. So that's one downside to playing her. And I found that for Phyla-Vell at least, because she's the same kind of style, Phyla-Vell doesn't seem to hit too hard unless you get that accumulation. When I was trying her out in like GBR against Galactus and stuff like that, you don't have enough opportunities to really get hit. So this makes these kind of characters not very good, at least for GBR. They can be slower for World Boss Ultimate depending on which person you're fighting, because you're going to need to get hit, and then you need to make sure that you don't get your skills canceled out because you have no mind control strikers. So that makes her a little difficult to play against Ebony, which she already suffers a little bit against Ebony because she's a physical damage dealer, or physical elemental damage. So that does play against her. So if we hop in here, we can kind of see that playing against her. Do we have any teams? I don't think we do. So let's set up a team. All right, so we're just going to do the same team here. We're also just going to have not the same strikers, but we're just going to be having the all defense down, and we're not going to be having any mind control. And we can see how much she kind of suffers here against Ebony despite having elemental damage. So I kind of wish they would fix that a little bit against Ebony here, that all elemental damage dealers can do kind of like equal damage to him. Just because she's physical based, like, it hurts her so much against Ebony. So that's really annoying. They should make elemental like a little bit, you know, like a separate category. Like they should have, of course, physical and energy defense, and then there should be just like an elemental resistance or elemental kind of defense or something like that for the world bosses, just to make it a little bit more even here. So we'll take some hits. There we go. Now we'll hop in. Yeah, you can see even with the damage accumulation, we're not hitting very hard. So, oh, we got frozen. So yeah, she's not going to be a good option for Ebony. She does really well against Proxima, as you can see there, because that was just a level 60 Betty here. So if we got her to level 70, she'd be to go a lot higher than stage 50 for Proxima, because with this current setup, we would have been able to clear that. I just wasn't finishing the fight. So yeah, overall, I mean, I like She-Hulk. If you're going to tier 3 Hulk, of course, she's going to be one of the best leaderships. So if you want to go that route just to get the most out of your Immortal Hulk, then you probably want to get her for that. But she's really strong as has her own standalone character. She's got a self-buffing leadership. She's pretty tanky. She does great damage. So she does have a lot going for her. But of course, she is going to be a paywall character unless you're playing early on right now when the update just went live, because then you could get her from the pass or whatever it was called, the future pass. I can't remember the actual name of it. So you can unlock her for free there, but then you still have to use tickets to upgrade her. So overall, I think she's a strong character. If you have the resources, go ahead. If not, she's definitely a character you can skip unless you, like I said, really want to build up your Immortal Hulk. So that's going to be my kind of initial thoughts on her. I do plan to get her to level 70, and then I'm going to do a little more testing on her. I'll try her out in GBR, and I'll try her out in a little higher stage of World Boss Ultimate. And if you want to see her in any other content, just let me know in the comments below, so when I make that next video, I can include that as well. But that's going to be it for this one here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and of course I will catch you in the next one.